Nangangati na naman ang itlog ko, nangangati na naman ang itlog ko, ka. Nangangati na naman ang itlog ko, nangangati na naman ang itlog ko, ka. What's up YouTube, it's your boy Dashing and this is week 6 of the CDL. I am one of the coaches of Team Kati Itlog and this week we take on the Neapolitan Alcremies. So it's gonna be me versus Paul, Alex versus Christian, and Haseen versus Michael. So I actually had my game first, and it does happen like in that order. So I think this is one of my toughest matchups, and I know I've been saying that for like the past few weeks, but it really is. If they do bring out the best set against us, it really is in their favor. Especially since my opponent is rocking the Urshifu Dark, which I don't really have a switch in for that. Like my other mons, I do have like the G Moltres, right? But the problem with Moltres is it doesn't really get roost or any form of like reliable recovery outside, rest or something. So it's not like I could recover it, and since he has access to Slow King Galar, he can always just soak up any special attacks I can throw at him and pivot out to one of his other mons. I was able to do a lot of mocks this week, and if anything, I felt I was pretty prepared here. I was able to come up with a very solid set, and if anything, the one I'm most afraid of is the Archeops, because none of my mocks really brought that. And if you look at the team I brought, Archeops kinda destroys the team, right? Rock move for Frostlass, Moltres, Shaman, EQ for Coco, Necrozma, and flying move for the Mianchao. So this mon is the biggest threat to the team. Like, it's definitely still the Urshifu, but this mon can take out like 3 mons on its own, and then the rest can just fill out the blanks. I told my teammates the matchup is tough, but I do see myself as like a better player than Paul. So we should still be able to win this one, especially if we're not expecting him to play that well. And he has been having like a rough season so far, so I guess it's in our favor in that case that we are the better player. But let's check out the game and see how it went. So we lead off with Archeops as I go Frostlass. He goes for a Rock Slide here, and I am Sash. As soon as that happened, I was like, oh my god, please don't flinch, don't flinch. We don't flinch and we get an Ice Beam off. Amazing turn for us. That was one of his best threats, and we take him out in turn 1. As soon as that happened, I immediately felt confident, like, bro, we can win this one. So I bring out Necrozma here, or switch out on the Manectric. Goes for an Intimidate, that's fine. We are not really too concerned about that. Brings out Tangela here. Our main strat is kinda hazard stack him, and seeing as if you look at his team, he has probably defog on the haunch, but no Blastoise, meaning no spin, no shell smash. I think that was a pretty good bring this week, so I'm very surprised it didn't come. And he has like Tangela instead. The lead seed miss on Necrozma wasn't really a big deal. We're not really getting KO'd anytime soon unless it's coming from the Urshifu or maybe the Haunch. But yeah. Goes for a lead seed here on the Mianchao. We can just go for a knockoff, which is very good this game. Had he switched out to the Manectric, we get good damage plus rocks, and we can always just pivot back to the Necrozma. Anything else, the king could lose like the AV, Urshifu in particular, we're afraid of the Scarf set. The Scarf set kinda destroys us. Anything else, Shaman can win. Moltres can win. Even Mianchao can win. right? So if it's not Scarf, our chances of winning is a lot higher. So we knock off the Eviolite, so this is a lot more vulnerable now. Because for Giga Drain, that's decent damage. We just go out to our Shaman here as we take the Sludge Bomb. A good play. I mean, I guess we didn't really have any reason to go to Necrozma there, other than just to like roost up or heal up to full. But yeah, I think the big part here was getting the poison. And I probably should have just switched out at this turn, seeing as the Slowking switch was very obvious. But in case he wanted to get greedy and, make a read, go for another Leech Seed, forcing probably my Necro to take more damage. I probably thought maybe just stay in, and if he does stay in, we could punish that hard. But yeah, we just switch out here to the Necrozma. Our Shaman is only at 26%, but that's kinda fine since he doesn't have a rocker in the team anymore. So we can have like a few turns staying in. We don't really need to worry about rocks, and we are boots anyway. So yeah. We go for an EQ there. If ever he wanted to stay in, we would do good damage on any of the other mons. We are just running EQ and Photon Geyser, so we are walled by the Honchkrow. Tangela comes in. I can just go back to Mianxiao knowing that if he goes Giga Drain, we'll live that. Even a Sludge Bomb. We go for CC just to get a shit ton of damage on this mon. As he goes, takes us out with a Sludge Bomb. I'm totally fine with that. I bring out Frostlass here. Ice Beam is very free here. But the important part is I want to get up a layer of Spike. I want to spike up here. Knowing that the other mons, if Honchkrow comes in, there's going to be like a 50-50 between like me going for an Ice Beam and Defog, or Sucker Punch and Spike. Something like that. But yeah, knowing his safe play is always to go for the Slowking. It's revealed to be AV. And I go for a Destiny Bond here as he goes for the Flamethrower. We take out the Slowking. A huge wall to our Coco, now out. So this is looking amazing for us. I was like, this game is so over. I don't think he can win here. I mean he can always get like hacks and all, but it doesn't look good for him. He goes T-Bolt there. I go for a Dazzling Gleam, take 41%, goes for a Volt Switch. My play is 100% to Roost here. We go for a Roost as Tangela takes some Hazard Chip. Without the Eviolite, Tangela isn't within range of the Dazzling Gleam. Punch comes in, Sucker does nothing. I probably could even Roost there, but I didn't really know what else he wanted to do, so better to just attack knowing we resist the Sucker anyway, and it's probably not gonna outspeed us. Urshifu comes in. I think we may be in range of like a poison jab here. But the thing is, I'm fine if Coco goes down, because if he goes poison jab, that would mean he would be scarfed. And if he's locked to poison jab, Moltres can just win. I can just set up like an agility and take out the Manectric when he switches out. If he doesn't switch out, I can then just go for like a nasty plot and just win from there. So this is basically a checkmate position. I actually switch out to Moltres and get KO'd by the Thunder Punch. Actually, that was a misclick of mine. I was chatting with other people in the Discord, and we were gonna play some Yu-Gi-Oh later. Then when I got back to like the Showdown tab, I accidentally clicked Moltres there, and I tried to cancel it, but he already picked his move. He takes us out there, so I was like, oh my god, are we gonna be throwing this? I mean, I guess at this point, I could just at this point I don't know, right? I don't know if he's scarfed or what. So I guess I could have just gone for Coco here, because If he is Scarf, then he can only hit me with Thunder Punch. But instead, I go for Shaman here, and I just go for a Healing Wish just in case he wanted to Sucker Punch there. And from what it looks like, since we went first, it actually tells me that the Urshifu is probably banned. Now that I think of it, he probably needed to be banned to take out the Moltres. I don't think Thunder Punch, even from Adamant with the terrain, would take out the Moltres. So I was kind of confident that he wasn't Scarf, meaning both of them fall to like a Dazzling Gleam. Coco gets healed. The good thing about that, even if he was like not Scarfed or what, I mean it really didn't matter at that point since we already found out the set. We take out the Urshi and the Manectric, and that's going to be GG. It's dashing. So I want to give a huge shout out to Aster J for giving me the set here. It's very rare for a player like me to have what we call builder's block, or I think it's like the first or second time I've actually felt like I didn't know what to build for the matchup itself. Normally I have a good idea and we normally execute it to get the W, but in this particular matchup, the mocks I've been having from like the Latino boys, I kept losing pretty much consistently, and this set really helped me overcome that. The whole Spidef Necrozma with the defensive Coco, really good set. So shoutouts to Aster for that. We just needed to like change some of the moves here, so it was easier to execute the plan. And even though we didn't get to show off some of that, we take those. You know, we win tough matchups. So the next game is going to be Alan versus Christian. This was actually really funny because the game took place like the next week basically, and Alan was telling me that he was having a hard time setting up the game because in the doc we had, it said his opponent was fucking Dark Chocolate. And he was like, who the fuck is Dark Chocolate? Oh my god. You know, for if you don't know, the Alcremies are actually like the admins of the league, and it's so stupid to be honest. Like, you have the doc which has, you know, everyone's real names there, and then your team has like these nicknames like Vanilla Bean and Paul Berry and Dark Chocolate. Like, oh my god, it's so dumb. But anyway, they managed to like schedule their game. I got to ask Alan before or after his game, like, what was he expecting, if anything. So he was actually expecting a lowland mock to come, but it didn't. And I'll give a spoiler here. What do you call this? The Tapu Lele is actually running telepathy, and the reason for that was he had like Sucker Punch on the what do you call this, Galvantula, which was supposed to check Alan's Poltergeist. I mean, I see it, but there had to be better ways to checking the Poltergeist. If you brought the Alolan Muck, that could definitely check that 100%. But yeah, it's a very try-hard build, but it is what it is. So let's check out the game, see how that went. Solid Pinsir here on the Galv. I think this was a horrible play on Alan's part. Galv is the most obvious lead here. It's gonna be Galv or Toad, in my opinion. Maybe if you're feeling froggy, you can go Corv or Flygon. But yeah, Galv and Toad are like the most obvious plays. And if that's the case, you kind of want to lead Roserade or the Pori too. Pinsir is an amazing win con this game, so you kind of want to preserve that. He takes a Thunder, dropping it to 17. if you're gonna stay in, I do agree with not mega evolving there. He goes for a rock slide, gets the miss. Unfortunate miss there, but that's another huge misplay in my opinion. Um, he had return on the set, and knowing the Galvantula, most players are gonna run sash on it. So it didn't really matter if you got the rock slide there. You just needed hit the return, and it would be in range of like a mega pincher quick attack. Now, the downside as well is he was not running quick attack, which is I think a huge mistake. He was actually banking on Azu to check the Blaziken, but in my opinion, since he has like water immune Mon with Toad here, Azu isn't really a reliable check to the Blaziken that way. So it was better preserving Pinsir to check the Blaziken. Topori comes here, sets up webs, goes Toad on the Ice Beam. I think that was a good bring, having download, because most of the mons are like more speedef oriented, so you can definitely take advantage of that. Goes for a Skull, does nothing. Sets up rocks, sets up T-Spikes. T-Spikes, I think, is a bad bring this matchup, because the opponent, Paul, or no, not Paul, Christian, actually had Wheezing, Galar Wheezing, which was actually a good bring here, because if you have Will-O-Wisp that could check a lot of the physical attackers here, even get chip on the Porygon. So, and it also can absorb the T-Spike. So, a very bold bring. Not to mention he has mons like Corv and Flygon that's immune to that. So if you have two immune mons to T-Spikes with a grounded poison type, I wouldn't really bring that. I think it's a bad bring, but it kind of works out for him that he didn't bring the Wheezing. I think that was a huge misprep from Christian. Gets the download boost, goes for a U-turn. Flygon comes in, Ice Beam is free. You gonna Ice Beam? Yup. That's a good chunk. Goes for a Defog. Goes for a Discharge. Gets the first turn para. Huge. That's huge. Switches out to Toad on the Discharge. I think Ice Beam was free there, 100%, since it is within range. So, another misplay by Alan there. Not really a big deal, but that's fine. He goes Roserade. I don't know why. Maybe because he wants to set the hazards again. Like if you're gonna get your rocks up, I'm gonna get my spikes up. There's gonna go T-Spikes here. Now, here's the thing. The Roserade had HP Ice, but apparently he didn't go for it there because he was running Poison Point, which I think was a huge misprep as well. Like, who are you trying to Poison Point? Like, an Outrage Flygon, right? Or a Blaziken that's gonna, Flare Blitz. Because Blaziken doing Flare Blitz, it's gonna die anyway to like an Aqua Jet or a Quick Attack. So, it didn't make sense to me. And if you had Technician there, that could very well be in range of Technician boosted Hidden Power Ice. So yeah, unfortunate misprep there. Gets a download boost, goes for a Roost. So he's gonna go Discharge here, or just make the read and go for an Ice Beam. Yep, he didn't really lose much from that. It looks like the Corv doesn't get toxic. That's something I guess some players have to remember, since it's not like a Gen 7 previous Mon. It doesn't get all these generic TM moves like, Toxic and all that. So yeah, he goes for a Defog there, switches to Galvantula. You go for a Discharge, you get some damage there. You go for an Ice Beam. He still lives. So at that point, if you look at that, if he just went for the Dam Return turn 1, he would have gotten the Galvantula KO'd by then. Porygon wouldn't have been paralyzed, or he wouldn't have webs. So seeing as he went for webs first, I think he prioritized the web. So Pori 2 in this scenario wouldn't be paralyzed. Okay, keep that in mind. Goes for a Thunder, does some damage. Breaks through, gets an Ice Beam off. Blaziken comes in. Goes for an SD. He gets paralyzed, so he could have gotten like a Discharge there, which has a decent chance to paralyze the Blaziken. So, missed, you know, it's like a chain reaction like from the first turn, right? Goes close combat. I didn't really know what was the best thing to do. I think at that point, I would have sacked the Roserade 100% because I think that's what you were trying to do, right? That's why you brought Poison Point. You're trying to poison the Blaziken or one of the physical attackers. So I think your play there was definitely to sack the Roserade there, or at least give it a chance to, you know, chip the Blaziken from like Flare Blitz recoil, or get a Poison Point off with the CC. Because, you know, since you went for CC there, you had like 2 opportunities to like get a Poison Point off. So Azu comes in here. He does have Play Rough, so I think Play Rough is 100% the play here. Since Aqua Jet is so obvious that it's gonna heal the Seismitoad. The Seismitoad comes in and he goes for an Aqua Jet. So this is actually why I was saying that this was such a horrible win con, like in the mindset of having the Azu check the Blaziken since he has like water immune mons. He goes for a Defog here. I guess that's fine. He goes for a Dragon Dance on the Pinsir. Pinsir Mega evolves, revealing that he doesn't have quick attack. Necrozma DM comes in. He goes for EQ. Rocks the Weakness Policy. He goes for an Autotomize. So that's actually a decent bring here. And it really would work out if the Flygon wasn't Sash. So he will be able to take out the Necrozma there. Azu comes in, goes for an Aqua Jet, so he doesn't make the read there anymore, knowing he can win with the 3 Mons, I think. So yeah, he switches out to Moltres here, as the Corv goes for Roost. He switches to Toad, and goes for Flamethrower. I don't know why he didn't go for Roost there, since Roost was so free, and the Corv already demonstrated that he didn't have a way of dealing with the Moltres, right? He revealed like U-turn, Defog, Roost. So if he U-turned, he risked the burn as well. So Roost was your play 100% there. He brings out Lele here. He goes for a Psychic, does 32. And he doesn't Roost again. At this point, it was really annoying watching this. It felt like Alan was throwing the game, like intentionally. So he goes for Aqua Jet, takes out the Lele. So I'm not sure if Christian picked up on the Azu being banded, but yeah. Since the Roserade is has nothing basically, it has like Giga Drain, Sludge Bomb. So if he sacked the Roserade instead of the Porygon 2, he would still have Porygon 2 here, which can really deal with the matchup, right? Porygon 2 would at least force the switch to Blaziken. Blaziken is gonna be poisoned. Probably gonna take like a discharge if it doesn't get paralyzed. And then Azu can come in and just spam like liquidations, and he could get the win that way. So there was a lot of horrible plays there. Well, some horrible plays, but I think the general consensus was the prep the prep was really uh, the plan to make Azu like the main win con to check the Blaziken instead of the Pincer, not going Technician on the Rosary, and still not executing like the Poison Point strategy there. Porygon was nice. He played that pretty nicely. The Moltres, he refused to like roost on those 2 turns, which was pretty obvious. So yeah. It is what it is. We just need to learn from our mistakes. So at that point, it's gonna come down to Hasin's game, and Hasin hasn't been playing well at all. Not well at all. Hasin is definitely a good player, I would say, but he has been very inconsistent this season. He's been losing tough matchups badly, and even matchups where it's even or in his favor, he's been losing it. He's been choking some games, basically. But yeah, hoping he can win this one for us. I got to ask him about the matchup. He was actually expecting Toad with Kabutops as a pair. So it was surprising to him that he only brought like Toad without the Kabutops. So yeah. Without further ado, let's check out the game, see how it went. Lead Smeargle on the Toad. Goes for a Spore, alright. Burns a Sleep Turn, sets up webs. Goes for a Sub. Switches to Comfy, okay. Goes for Hypnosis, alright. Trying to make it sleep. Goes for Smeargle. I guess he was hoping that Smeargle gets falls asleep. He goes for Protect here. On the Scald. Goes Comfy. Goes for a Scald. No burn yet. Goes for Hypnosis, it falls asleep. Goes for Rotom Fan. Wakes up. Gets a Spore in. Burns a Sleep Turn. And he actually reveals Whirlwind. Like, why didn't you just Whirlwind like the turn Toad sub? That made zero sense there. You could have just Whirlwinded it. But instead you got damage on the Smeargle and some damage on the Comfy. So I think that was some horrible plays from Hasin there, but you know, it is what it is. He goes for Sub here, and he goes for Whirlwind. Okay, so at least he punishes that. I think that's something he finally adapted to. The weeks he was playing, he kept bringing Smeargle and Pyuku, and you know, all you need to do is bring Sub for those mons, or you know, mons that can avoid like moves like Spore and all that. So I think he finally got the picture not to be so predictable. You know, not every player you're gonna play in this league are idiots. So Lele comes in, gets a Moonblast, takes out the Smeargle. Necrozma comes in. This is actually a very free setup for Necrozma. Is he gonna DD? Yep, DD. Goes for Photon Geyser. That's gonna do good damage. Almost kills. Goes for a Scald. Gets the burn. Unfortunate burn there. Goes for a Steel Strike in case he's switched. I guess in case he switched to the Lele or something like that. He goes Lele, goes for a Steel Strike that still kills. Oh my god. +1 burn still kills Lele. That was a huge misplay from Michael. He could have just went to the Golisopod there. I don't know why he wanted to sack off Lele. That was a huge misplay. Goes Photon Geyser on the Golisopod, doesn't do much. Goes for a knockoff there. Actually procs the weakness policy. And he's probably gonna get another kill here. Nope. I mean, almost, right? The sad part there is he couldn't really go for like Sucker Punch because of the terrain. But yeah. Necrozma falls to the burn. Diancie comes out. This Rotom is still sleeping. gets his second sleep turn, goes for CM, wakes up the second turn, goes Volt Switch. I mean, that's fair enough, I guess. You don't really. He could have just Mega Evolved there, and what do you call this? He could Mega Evolve there and bounce back like the possible T wave. So I understand that play. Golisopod comes out. You can just go for a Moonblast there. Very safe. No need to Mega Evolve there. Deoxys comes in. I would have probably stayed in normal form there. Probably. Just in case he was like a Scarf variant and he had like a Steel move. We may live the Steel move if that's the case, but it is what it is. We go for a Moonblast, takes out the Deoxys. Rotom should fall here. Yep. And Como is certainly gonna fall. Alright. So that's gonna be a 4-0 solid win from Hassim. He played the early game badly in my opinion, but he was able to position the win cons properly this time. He actually won with just, I guess, 4 mons. Mew and Dragonite didn't do anything. So yeah, finally he's getting back to the groove. We win this week 2-1. Solid win for us. So yeah, one of the teams actually got disqualified, and they were actually the top team. So that's really good for us. Our record looks a lot better now that they're gone, and we have a decent shot of making like being one of the top teams in the league. So that's very exciting stuff, and that's gonna be the game. If you guys like the content, like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you guys on the next one. Cheers.